Hey guys, so I'm gonna start off by saying I don't like projecting negative thoughts or comments or even feelings, but if I don't, then I'm only projecting the positive stuff, and then you guys aren't seeing the whole part of me. So I'm gonna share today. I really wanted to talk about mental health because I feel like we're all told everyone has mental health issues, but for some people, or for a lot of people actually, it doesn't just stop there. It goes way further, especially if you've been diagnosed with many different things. And I'm not saying like the more you have, like competing with each other, it's not about that. Also, what you're diagnosed with doesn't define who you are, but it does impact your day-to-day life for most people. So basically I wanted to talk about my mental health in hopes that I would help you guys feel like you're not alone, because I know that a lot of the time I feel like I am alone, and I know I'm not, but I feel like I am, and I just wanted you guys that are watching this to not feel alone, because you see me, you're hearing me, and hopefully that can provide you comfort. So I have depression and anxiety. They're both not mild. They're both quite intense, and I'm gonna say almost every day, most days, both of them affect me, and there are times that one affects me more than another one does, or one is like inherently present for a very long time. So usually my anxiety is the main problem day to day. I have anxiety about leaving my house, about being around people, and it's not just from COVID, like that as well, because I'm immunocompromised. I have to be very careful, but just in general, like I'm very cautious about who I'm around. So I don't really leave my house very much. If I do, I normally am with somebody. It just helps me feel a bit safer, and the anxiety tends to quieten down with most people that I go out with, so friends are good. But that's, I would say, is sort of like the main things that my anxiety is centered around. I also have a lot of, I should put a trigger warning here. Big trigger warning. I have a lot of anxiety around food. A lot of you who probably grew up with me have probably seen this side of me. I don't have an eating disorder, that's a very different thing. But I do have a lot of anxiety where it stems to, if I don't have like meal food in the house, like stuff to make dinners, stuff to make lunches, I tend to isolate myself because I feel like there's all this stuff that I can't like snack on or easily eat in all sort of situations. I tend to isolate myself and just stop eating, and I realize that it's very, very terrible, and I'm not promoting that, and I'm not encouraging it at all. I'm just trying to share my experience. But that's one of the reasons why I get so excited when I do grocery shopping and I show you guys on Instagram all my grocery hauls. It may just seem weird and simple, but honestly it's one of the biggest highlights of my week when I do my grocery shopping, because then I know that in most circumstances that I find myself in, there is something that I can / will eat. And it pretty much, every time I do my grocery shopping and restock, that part of the anxiety kind of just like goes on holiday for a bit until the groceries get low. So I wouldn't say that one happens weekly, but it kind of depends. Like if I'm just like generally happy, then it probably won't come up each week. But if I'm like, if my depression started up again, or if my anxiety is really high, then it will probably join in. Yeah, so that's that one. I also tend to have pretty vivid nightmares, and they can span for generally about 7 to 8 days in a row. So it's not just a one-off night, it is like for a whole week plus. And it happens probably every 3 or 4 weeks. So you can imagine it's very difficult to go to work or work during that week because I've barely had any sleep at all. Most of my functioning during that time is constantly high anxiety because nightmares are scary, and usually when I have one night it won't just be that one, so I'll wake up and I'll be in trauma, sometimes have a panic attack from it, and then not want to go back to sleep because I'll have another one. That's usually what happens, they double back, and then I go to sleep again, and it's 50-50 chance of having one again, another one, or not. And then I wake up kind of a zombie for the whole day, and then get a lot of anxiety about going to sleep again, because what if it happens again? And it usually does, like I said, and it goes on for a week. So right now that's happening. It was night 1 last night, so I'm not looking forward to going to bed tonight. It's just very draining, especially since I'm already drained, not even from the sleep, just from working and unpacking my trauma lately, which is why I stopped doing social for a week or so. Yeah, so I'm not really in the greatest space right now. Not in a terrible one, but it could be a lot better. Just extremely low energy. Depression is kind of a big cloud over me right now, and my anxiety is sort of in the corner nagging. That's sort of the situation right now. What other anxiety things do I have? Just trying to think about them, because everyone's is different. People have anxiety and depression for different reasons, from different events, and affect them differently. These are just my experiences. That's all I can really think of for the anxiety part right now, aside from your brain like second guessing you, and the what ifs and that sort of thing. Let's go into depression. So this one is quite different, but for me, my anxiety and depression go hand in hand. Not that they trigger each other or anything, but when one is there, the other one tends to show up just in the back corner, and kind of like keeping an eye on things. So for me, my depression is, I think I would best describe it as very isolating. It usually comes up when I get very tired or very exhausted from overworking or overexerting myself, or feeling sad, because sometimes you're just sad. It's just how it is. But generally when that happens, my depression pops up and goes, we don't want to get out of bed today. We don't want to look after ourselves today. We don't want to clean. We don't want to do anything. And so usually what happens is that goes for like maybe 3 or 4 days. During that time, no chores get done, and nothing really gets done. And so by the end of that, I'm probably still tired for being tired from that. And then I've got a mountain of chores to do, which is kind of what's happening now. Like, I'm back in the depressive state again, but from the last one, because of my lifestyle, which I can control, but I can't really adapt right now for financial reasons. But basically I have 7 loads of washing, and that's just the washing. The kitchen needs cleaning, the rubbish needs taking out, the house needs tidying, everything needs dusting. And I mean, there's always that thing of you can make time, but when you have depression, it doesn't really work that way. So basically, I'm in another depressive state now, and I've got to clean up all of the mess from the last depressive state while I'm in this depressive state. Sorry, someone called me. So what I was saying was I've got to clean up my mess, otherwise things will get worse, both my depression, because, you know, a clean environment does help. If it's a messy one, it kind of just makes you feel more isolated. So the depression will get worse and the mess will get worse if I don't clean it. And often cleaning is one of the things that is a very mindful activity for me. And also, like, it's productive in the way that it cleans your environment and does make me happier, so they kind of go hand in hand. Also, I don't know where it stems into, but I've found lately that people exhaust me. I don't know what it goes or links into, but yeah. And especially since I had COVID and since I've been unwell, I've realized that my time and energy is so important, because a lot of the time I don't have energy to do things, and the bare minimum is to be able to look after myself and then work, and that's like it. If I have a bit more energy, then I could work on a project or hang out with a friend, but that's why a lot of the time I don't hang out with friends, and I don't really hang out with people, and I don't work on my projects even though I'd love to, because I just don't have the energy. I'm just too tired, like, all of the time. And regarding time as well, I've cut back a lot of the hours that I work so that I can still afford everything I need to afford, but at the same time, the 3 days that I have off is basically my recovery days to go back to work again. Like, even though I have 3 days off, I usually can't hang out with people or do projects or anything because I'm still too tired. Like, I'm recovering, and a lot of people that I talk to about this don't seem to understand that. And sometimes when I have to repeat myself, I get very frustrated, especially if people don't listen, because it's like I'm trying to communicate with you or kind of teach you how I function as a human being, but sometimes, you know, people try to take advantage of you or try to manipulate you, and it's like, man, if you're gonna do that, I'm just not gonna talk to you or associate with you, you know? I'm just not here for that. Like, I barely have the energy as it is. I'm just not even gonna indulge in that. Thinking about things like trauma and unpacking, there's a lot that I have to unpack still from all over, from my childhood, from my teenage years especially, like and generational trauma as well. Like, there is so much, like, I can't even begin to describe, that I need to unpack, and I feel like I'm just getting my foot in it. which is good because then I can keep going, you know, but it is exhausting trying to figure out what went wrong so that you can make yourself a better person and also treat other people nicer than you've been treated, and also emotionally processing how you've been treated also. That takes a huge toll on you physically, mentally, and emotionally. And so for me, yeah, it has triggered my depression and my anxiety more because I'm finally processing stuff I haven't known that I've had to process. So again, that's taken a lot out of me, but at the same time, it's pushed so much progress. It's just, I can't even comprehend in this last month alone how much I've unpacked and how much I have consciously put energy into changing the way that I think about things and the way that I treat people, and consciously thinking what words come out of my mouth and what actions I take and that sort of thing. Like, that is exhausting. Consciously being aware. But also, I know that by doing that, it's setting up new patterns. It's setting up new systems. It's helping me connect better to myself and helping me in the way that I treat other people. And also helping me help other people. But man, I've got a long way to go. I'm not gonna lie there. But I've also come such a long way, especially this past month, let alone this past year, let alone these past 5 years. The growth is insane. I still can't comprehend it. And last month at the end, I started manifesting things as I was unpacking. Like, I was unpacking for most of that month, and in the end, when I cleared out some of that crap in there, I started manifesting stuff that I wanted for myself, and there was a whole week where things just started to fall into line for me. Things were being attracted to me, and it was just magical. Like, I can't even describe it. And it's still happening. The magic is still happening as I'm still processing, even though I'm so tired and I feel like absolute garbage right now. It's still going because I'm still going. Which is just... wow. So that's that. That's not the end, but I think that's what I'll say about it for now. I know it's very hard to try and understand like where someone's coming from or someone's life, especially if you haven't been in that situation or felt those emotions before. Because usually if you've felt the emotions before that someone else has, you can definitely relate there, even though your situations were different. It's like same storm but different boat sort of thing. But I understand that me sometimes very abruptly posting a message like I'm going or I'm not feeling great, like I really don't like posting that stuff. I find it very hard to be open with the depression stuff, and the anxiety and the negativity stuff, because I just like to put out positive stuff. I like to try and help lift up people because I know that a lot of us are feeling similar-ish to how I'm feeling right now, and I just want to try to make people feel loved and cared for, but obviously you can't do that all the time, and part of being transparent and honest is talking about the times that you're not feeling great. So here I am. Yeah, so I'm getting better at putting out my boundaries. I'm getting better at saying no to people and getting better at telling people, teaching people how to treat me. Again, it's very tiring, but when you learn that yourself is the most important thing, and that without yourself you literally can't survive, it begins to put it all in perspective for you. So yeah. Okay, have a lovely day. I hope the sun is shining. And look after yourselves. Bye.